There's only one way to think about your analytics data moving forward with the new GA4 platform, and that is with a fresh set of eyes. Yeah, it's easy to be upset at Google for taking away universal analytics data, the data we've relied on for over a decade. But what if they were doing us a favor? What if we looked at GA4 as the perfect opportunity to bring our analytics into the future by forgetting about the past? Well, that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Now, if you've been using Google Analytics as long as I have, since all the way back in 2005, then you've definitely made a few mistakes along the way. Maybe you've forgotten to install the code for a few days when you updated your homepage, or maybe somebody who worked at your company years ago created a filter that made all tracking impossible, leaving you with a giant donut on your metrics for an uncomfortable length of time. We've all been there. And even I've had these problems in the past, sooner than I'd like to admit. Now, the truth is that Google built Universal Analytics in an era where Internet Explorer was the dominant web browser, and BlackBerries were the dominant mobile devices. And it stayed that way for the next 15 years, creating a history of mistakes and technical debt along the way. Think about it. Back in 2005, what was your password that you used to get onto your computer? Was it ABC123 or something a little less secure? Now, as our need for security has evolved on the internet, so has our concept of privacy, much faster than Google was able to react with Universal Analytics. And that leads me to a truth that we don't want to hear. Universal Analytics was a relic of the past, and it wasn't possible to give it a new coat of paint this time around. Google had to re-architect an entire platform to replace the mistakes of the past, and this new platform is a modern take on analytics. Okay, let me give you two options. Which would you choose if you were new to the SEO industry and you were trained side by side on two analytics tools? Tool number one helps you measure your search performance. It also respects your users' privacy, is optimized for mobile devices, tracks mobile apps, and has the ability to be completely customized for your business. Tool number two was built in the early 2000s, is a privacy nightmare, and is synonymous with slowing down the internet for mobile devices. It also hasn't had a meaningful improvement in about 5 years. But on the bright side, tool number two has been around for 15 years and is supported everywhere by third-party tools and plugins. Okay, given these two choices, which one would you choose? The first one, right? Well, this is precisely what GA4 promises to new users. GA4 was built with privacy in mind, and it's mobile first. It's lightweight, which means that it won't slow down your site, and it gives you tons of flexibility for moving your data to third-party systems. Now, the only real viable complaint about GA4 is that it's not well supported yet by third parties. But that will be changing soon now that Google has announced a sunset date for Universal Analytics, June 30th, 2023. That is the last day that Universal Analytics will collect data. When you log into your Universal Analytics views on July 1st of 2023, it's the last time you'll have a complete picture of your website traffic. After that, it's going to be blank. So even if you're not sold yet on GA4, or you want to wait until third parties integrate better with the system, you're up against a deadline, and soon you'll be up against reality. And that's why we believe that now is the time to learn the new system and how it's different from Universal Analytics. So let's take a look at the differences between the two systems. The first difference is how data is collected. Universal Analytics collects data by heavily relying on JavaScript and cookies, and then it sends this data to Google's servers using an open measurement protocol. Anyone can send data to your GA account, even spammers. And not only that, the collected data is not secure and can violate privacy laws in many countries. Now, GA4, on the other hand, still uses JavaScript and cookies to collect data, but it sends it to Google's servers with a much smaller footprint, i.e. it takes up a lot less bandwidth to transmit it, and it does it more securely. And because GA4 is built mobile first, and especially for app measurement, it is much more friendly for mobile device tracking. Universal Analytics, they collect data using multiple hit types, treating users, sessions, and hits differently. And different hit types can be confusing and lead to complicated reporting scenarios. And this makes customizing your Universal Data Analytics reports or developing the reports themselves really difficult. Now, GA4, on the other hand, is a single data model that is based on events. The event model allows you to simplify data collection. And then it uses calculations of users and sessions done in the cloud reducing the bandwidth and storage needed to identify user behaviors. Universal Analytics limits the numbers of goals, custom dimensions, and overall data that you can collect. And if you reach those limits, you either need to delete some data, which doesn't happen retroactively, or you need to reduce the amount of data you send to their systems. And if you don't do this, you experience something called data sampling, which has long been a pain for heavily trafficked websites. GA4 has more generous data limits across the board, so you don't run into limitations as quickly, plus you have more flexibility with the limits. However, a quick warning here, if you do go over the limits, you may experience something called data cardinality, and so it's essential not to overdo your data customizations on either system. Okay, what about Universal Analytics requiring you to purchase an expensive GA360 license if you reach limitations in their system, or if you want to reach and access advanced features like BigQuery or Google's advanced media integrations and attribution models? However, with GA4, these are built right into the free version, and so you can enjoy BigQuery access and advanced integrations without all the hassle. Now, these are just a few of the differences between the two platforms. The move to GA4 was a long time coming, and unfortunately, the only way that the digital marketing industry would agree to the switch is if they didn't have a choice. We don't have a choice regarding GA4 other than we decide when we get to make the leap. Now, I believe that if you had no prior knowledge, you'd choose GA4 over Universal in a heartbeat.